Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 220. In this episode, I'm going to share 3 reasons why Debi Silber is so badass. Debi is the founder of the Post-Betrayal Transformation Institute, and she's also a holistic psychologist. So your betrayal, your mindset around that can completely affect everything from your health to your mindset to personal development. And she is a personal development expert. So if you're struggling with betrayal or anything like that, and it doesn't matter if it happened to you a week ago, a day ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, betrayal is something that you can hold on to forever. So go back, listen to that last episode. If you're short on time and just want to get to the nitty gritty, then check this episode out where you can hear 3 reasons why Debi Silber is so badass. And before we get to the episode, if you're struggling with something in your journey to badassery, something that I've always helped is having a mentor, having somebody to help me, guide me. Yes, this podcast is absolutely helpful, but if you feel like you want some one-on-one attention, you want to do a deeper dive into what's going on, then I'm offering this for podcast listeners, ordinarytobadass.com/coaching, and maybe your call will even make an appearance on the episode. Or on a podcast episode, but that's definitely not the requirement. Really, I'm here to help you. So if you don't want it on the podcast, that's good to go as well. But definitely it's moving past our hardships, right? Pushing through the things that are hard and finding a way to get to the other side. And sometimes we can't see past ourselves, or we can't get out of our own way. And so it's helpful to have a coach. So if you're at all interested in coaching, I have a free coaching session, ordinarytobadass.com/coaching. Head there, sign up today, because I cannot wait to talk to you. I know it is going to be epic and you're going to have major results from this. ordinarytobadass.com/coaching. And with that, let's get to the episode. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I am so glad you're here. Today, I'm going to share 3 reasons why Debi Silber is so badass. So, quick recap or quick rundown of 3 reasons why she's so badass is 1, she kept it moving. 2 is she turned her struggles into strengths. And 3 is the unusual trait that she was able to conquer after being betrayed. So I can't wait to dive into it more. So first, let's start with keep it moving. Debi was not afraid to keep it moving. A lot of times after betrayal or after trauma or something hard happens, it is hard to go on. Now, I know that everybody responds to things differently. One situation could happen to 10 different people, and all 10 people deal with it differently, right? But it is important to not be buried by our struggles, to not be buried by the things that are hard, right? And so instead of getting buried by them, instead of getting drugged down by them, then she was able to keep it moving, to keep moving on, to do the things she wanted to do. Maybe you even use it to empower you. So what happened with her, and she was betrayed by her spouse at the time, and he cheated on her, right? So she's like, okay, bye. And then she kept it moving. Sorry, hit the table there, hit the desk. But she was able to keep moving forward instead of letting that consume her. So I will say there's a difference between moving and just doing only action and completely ignoring your emotions and ignoring what happened. There's a time to process that. And I'm not saying that's what she did or didn't do because I don't know. So process your emotions. Absolutely. Deal with what's in front of you, but don't let it drag you down. It's like, matter of fact, if somebody wrongs you, if somebody betrays you, then that can be the very reason, like, oh, this is what's going to give me grit. This is what's going to push me forward because I am not going to let that person get the best of me. And you could even use that. It doesn't even have to be somebody cheating on you. Maybe it's just breaking up in a relationship. Somebody broke up with you or you broke up with them. You're like, okay, not like being down, being upset, being in the low of the lows isn't going to define me. I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to do me. So you do you, right? You keep moving forward, keep doing the next best thing. And you know what that is. You know what's best for you. But if you're going to let something drag you down and stay in bed all the time and not get up and move, not do things with your friends, you're just going to shun all them. If you're going to let that drag you down, then the other person wins or the situation wins. Even if it's like the death of a loved one, right? Then you can let that drag you down, or you can use that to propel you forward. Like that's the reason to get out of bed every day, is because your loved one cannot get out of bed every day. So deal with your emotions, deal with the things in front of you. And if you're having a hard time coping with a breakup, with a death of a loved one, with any other trauma or hardship that you face, like a loss of a job, whatever it is, if you're having a hard time dealing with it and coping with it, then get the help that you need. Seek a counselor, go to therapy, do whatever it is that you got to do. Maybe your thing that touches base for you or that usually grounds you is getting outdoors, going hiking or going swimming or whatever your thing is. Try that, right? If that doesn't work, then maybe you seek counseling or you seek outside help. The choice is yours. You get to decide what it is that you want to do and how you want to have your life be going forward. And I can tell you, I've been through some hard freaking times. And well, specifically like the death of a loved one, right? So when my stepdaughter died, then that was super hard for me at the time. And I was just having a tough time dealing with it and wasn't able to come out from it, right? And so that's when I sought counseling, sought therapy. Let me get some help from this. Let me find out a different way of doing this, a different way of coping with this that I don't know how to deal with. So that's possible for you. When is the last time that you were betrayed? Are you keeping it moving? Are you moving forward? Give yourself that time. Give yourself, maybe you decide a week, maybe you decide a month. It kind of depends on what the situation is, right? But give yourself some time to grieve and to process your emotions. And then what point is it time to move on? What point is it time to keep it moving like Debi Silber was doing, right? You have to decide that. Or you just set a timer for yourself. I am going to grieve for 1 month. I am going to grieve this death or this loss of a relationship, which sometimes feels like a death. I'm going to grieve it for 1 whole month. And then if I'm not feeling better, if I still can't get out of a funk, then I am going to reach out to a counselor, reach out to a friend, reach out to family members, or I'm going to set time to make sure that I'm going out and exercising. I'm going out and hiking once a week, or I'm getting out and walking 5 days a week, whatever it is. But give yourself a timeline, right? Maybe you give yourself a week. If it was not like a moderate thing, maybe you had a breakup that you were in for a couple of years in a relationship. Okay, give yourself a couple of weeks. If it's something small that's still upsetting, okay, I'll take the day. I'll take the weekend. And then, you know what? Pushing forward. You get to decide. You know how serious it is, right? but don't let yourself drag it out. Got to keep it moving. All right. The second thing about Debi Silber that is so badass is how she turned her struggles into strengths. So Debi struggled with betrayal, right? And that was something she could have got stuck in forever. And instead, like, yes, she struggled with it, but she decided, oh, let me go research this. Let me look into this further. There is more to this. So instead of just sitting there feeling betrayed, feeling hurt for the next 10, 20, 30 years of her life, nope, not Debi. She decided she was going to take action. She was going to turn that struggle of being betrayed into a strength, which was getting her PhD in psychology and learning what she was going to do from there, right? She's like, okay, how can I help other people who have been betrayed? How can I overcome this myself? And through doing research and having quizzes and questionnaires and having that information answered, then she was able to find out some solutions. And you know what? She realized she was not the only person struggling with this. Oftentimes, we think that our struggles are our own and they're completely unique to us. Sorry to break it to you, it's just not true. Most of us have the same exact struggles. If there was 5 of us, 10 of us in a room, or all of us talking to one therapist, that one therapist would probably say, kind of interesting. They all have the same exact struggles. This is not unique to me, right? We always think it's unique to us, but it's not. So, what struggles are you facing? How can you turn those struggles into strengths? I would suggest that you write that down. Write down the struggles you're facing, and then how that struggle can possibly be a strength. And even if it doesn't feel like a strength right now, like, okay, fine. How can it be a strength 90 days from now? How can it be a strength a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Because some of the stuff that is like hard and is like the biggest trauma, the biggest hurt, the worst things to go through can be the absolute thing that's your strength in the end. Or it's like, it's still a strength, but it's like you're helping other people to do it. You're helping other people to overcome the hardship that you went through so that they don't have to face it alone, so that they don't have to cry tears by themselves, right? If they can go to you and you can help them speed up the process of grief, not grease, speed up the process of betrayal, of grieving, whatever the thing is, if they can come to you and get a quicker answer and go through the grief process quicker, or go through the betrayal process quicker, whatever the thing is that you've turned your struggle into a strength, if you can help them get through it quicker, then you're doing good in this world. You are making an impact. You're not letting this one thing die with you or end with you. You're using it to motivate you, to push you forward. So really reflect on that. Reflect on what your struggles are and how possibly it can be a strength. Even if you don't feel like it's a strength right now, how somebody else could see it as a strength, or how you could help somebody else with it going forward. Or if I was to tell my best friend who is going through this, how they could help somebody, this is what I would say. And say that to yourself, right? Just write it down. Because often we'd be a cheerleader for our best friends, we'd root them on and totally have their back when we can't see it for ourselves. So if your friend was going through this betrayal or the situation that you're going through, what would you tell them? Use that for yourself. All right. Number 3, the third thing that is so badass about Debi Silber is the unusual trait that she had to conquer after being betrayed. What's that unusual trait? Now, Debi talked about how she was able to trust again. Most people, after being betrayed, hold on to that betrayal hardcore. And it's so difficult to move on because you're just pissed off, right? You're angry at the stuff that happened to you. So you hold on to that anger, and just it can build bitterness, it can build resentment. A lot of times, what it doesn't build is trust. So, how do you build trust? How do you build trust after being betrayed? I can only imagine that it takes a lot of work, a lot of inner work, or going to a therapist, getting the help you need, processing everything that happened. But being able to trust after a betrayal, that's hard. Debi ended up, at first, she divorced her husband, and then they ended up coming together with their 4 children and their dogs and all the things. And she said they came together as 2 completely different people. Now, listen, I will be honest, I am a feminist. I am all about like inner power and courage and standing up for ourselves, standing up for other women, all those good things, right? And there was a time in my life where I would have told you that it was weak to get back together with somebody who had cheated on you. Now that I'm older, I definitely don't think that. It is hard to come back in a relationship and trust somebody who deceived you or betrayed you, right? But sometimes it takes 2 to tango. There's sometimes other issues going on in the relationship, going on in the marriage. So as Debi talked about, you have to separate. You have to give it space, give it time to process, not just immediately try to mend the relationship, because then you don't give yourself time to heal from the betrayal. And you could hold on to that anger and that resentment forever, or longer and longer, right? Longer than it needs to be. So she talked about having that separate space and not trying to mend everything or make everything perfect right away. But being able to conquer being betrayed and fall into that feeling of trust, that is huge. Not a lot of people are able to trust after betrayal. And if you listen to Debi's episode, she shares how the percentages, like of all the people that are hanging on to stuff and have health issues and all the problems that come, right? Simply because they weren't able to come back from being betrayed. That was something they couldn't recover from. You can recover from betrayal. You can do it, but you have to go through the process along the way. You have to deal with the anger, the sadness, the betrayal, whatever feelings you have. You have to deal with those and go through a process, but you can trust. And Debi is proof. Just because a lot of people aren't able to do something doesn't mean you can't do it. So just because a lot of people aren't able to trust after being betrayed doesn't mean that you can't trust after being betrayed. Like she said, it might take some time. It's not going to be instantaneous that you feel better or you feel trustworthy or you feel like you can take it on, but it can come with time. And man, I think trust is such a big deal right now. In this world, with all the craziness going on, having trust in somebody or being able to put your trust in somebody is huge. And it's helpful because where you lend trust, then somebody else might lend trust, right? So lend trust where it's warranted. Do your process, do what you got to do to grieve, to heal, to move on, but don't be afraid to trust. Just because one person shamed you, one person was rude to you, one person wronged you, right? They did you wrong, they did you dirty. Doesn't mean that you can't trust again. Doesn't mean that everybody else should be like, nope, you have a scarlet letter. All of you have a scarlet letter, or all of you have a big X on you because one person cheated on me or one person did me wrong. Somebody, my best friend betrayed me, whatever the situation is, doesn't mean you should not trust all people or just ignore all people, not give people the benefit of the doubt. Trust is huge. And you've got to give trust to get trust. So if you want people to trust you and trust your character, you have to be trusting as well. All right, let's do a quick recap. 3 reasons why Debi Silber is so badass. Number 1 is because she kept it moving. Number 2 is she turned her struggles into strengths. And the 3rd reason why Debi Silber is so badass is because of the unintentional trait that she was able to conquer after being betrayed. Not easy task, not an easy task at all. So if you liked the last episode or you liked this episode, definitely let Debi and I know. Your feedback is huge, especially when we have guests on here, coming on here, being vulnerable, sharing their hearts, sharing their struggles. Like, if you were cheated on, do you want to tell the world about it? Maybe if you're feeling vengeful, right? But it's hard to talk about these intimate moments, these private moments. And so I want to celebrate Debi for doing that. So definitely reach out to Debi on Instagram at Debi Silber, and the last name is, or Debi, and her last name is spelled Silber. And then tag me as well in your Instagram stories at Ordinary to Badass. I love to hear from you, and I love to know what kind of an impact this is having on you, right? These episodes, they're my baby. I love this podcast, and even more so though, I love hearing from you. I love hearing what impact the guests made on you. So definitely throw it in your IG stories and tag Debi and I at Debi Silber, and tag me at Ordinary to Badass. With that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass, and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.